So hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. And if you're watching this at a future date, thank you for tuning in. My name is Carolyn Gill, and I am the California Global Initiatives Manager for Vista. We're very excited to be here to present our 5 programs that were approved for the K-8 World Language Adoption in California for 2021. I'm accompanied here by my colleagues, Donna Marquez, who is actually lives in San Diego and teaches in San Diego, and Steve Santoro, who is your language and literacy sales specialist. I'm sure many of you know him. He has been with Vista for quite a few years. Shortly, our colleague Valerie Schul will be arriving, who will be talking about Listos, which is one of the programs that was approved for K-5. Donna is going to kick it off to start talking about Decor, which is our French title for grades 6 through 8. I will let Steve just quickly introduce himself first, and then Donna, if you want to take it over from there.
Okay.
Sure. Hi all, thanks for joining us. My name is Steve Santoro. I've been with Vista now going into my 16th year with Vista. So it's been a while. And yeah, the one thing I just kind of want to mention before I hand it off to Donna is that we only publish languages. So all of our efforts, all of our resources, all of our time goes into one thing, and that's language instruction. So if you remember one thing from this, I would, one takeaway, that would be it. Yeah, then I'm going to hand it off to Donna now so she can start talking about the Decor program. Thank you.
Great, Steve. Thanks so much. Carolyn, so in terms of timing, it's 12:08. Do I only have until 12:15 or?
No, I think you can go, I would say maybe aim for 13 minutes.
12 or 13 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll keep an eye on the clock, and when we're at about 12:20-ish, I'll signal you in some way.
Okay. Sounds wonderful. All right. Well, thanks all for attending today. As Carolyn and Steve said, my name is Donna Marquez. I am a teacher here in San Diego, and we've been using Vista Higher Learning programs in our district for many years, and I'm really excited to walk you through some of the great features of these programs. So I am going to go ahead and get started. First, today we're going to be speaking about our French programs, which are wonderful. So we have 2 different programs that we offer. Decor that you see on the screen here. This is a little bit faster paced scope and sequence, and you'll see that there are 3 different options, and there's also the A-B split, which is typically used at the middle school level. We also offer a brand new title that's coming out, which is Chemin. And this is a little bit slower scope and sequence. There are 4 levels of Chemin with less units in each. And we also offer an A-B split for middle school at a slower scope and sequence. Both of these programs are a wonderful pathway right into honors or AP French, whichever you may wish to explore. I highly recommend you take a peek at some of these. And I will show you a website at the end where you can see all of the programs that Vista Higher Learning offers. All of our contents are print and digital. So I'm going to be jumping into our online platform, which is known as the Super Site. And I'll show you some of those cool things that you'll love to see, and your kids will love them too. So the great thing about these programs is they have a 6-step instructional design. Everything is interwoven. You'll see that we have context, which is kind of all of the vocabulary where students connect the content that they're learning to their own personal lives within context and the vocabulary. We have a large amount of media, various video series throughout the programs that sort of tap into all of those different learning styles. In terms of culture, you're going to see a beautiful array of French culture across the Francophone speaking world. You'll see content from all of the French speaking countries and regions. So that is very, very new, and we're very proud of that as well. In terms of structures, there's lots of grammar used as a tool, right? That's not definitely the focus. We're much more focused on the communicative aspects of the languages. But structures and grammar are important to know. And again, like I said, everything is woven, so it all goes together perfectly. So if you're a teacher that really likes to do comprehensible input, you can still use these programs and tailor your grammar lessons to that type of teaching, okay? Synthesis is my favorite part. That's when we pull it all together, culminating ideas, projects, etc. Wonderful, wonderful. And I'll show you a few of those goodies in the super site. So you probably noticed that there's all sorts of different colors here. We are color coded, so it makes it really easy for those visual learners and teachers for that matter. You'll see that everything is color coded across the textbook series as well as the online platform. So when you're in red, you know that you're in vocabulary. When you're in blue, you know that you're in grammar, etc. Things like that. And yellow is grammar too. I'm getting my colors mixed up here, aren't I? But you're getting the idea. Okay, so before we jump into the super site, you'll see that, you know, all of the learning is in context. Like I said, there's never going to be just a grammar point floating out there that doesn't have any examples with all of the content, the vocabulary and culture that students are studying. Lots of recycling too, which I love. Big focus on communication. That's in my book, that's one of the most important things, is getting our students to speak. Lots of authenticity. So I'm going to show you some of the really cool features like I said, but this is all research-based, it's learner-based, interculturality is all woven throughout. There's a great integration of text and tech. So everything can be, you know, embedded right into your learning management systems, or you can use the super site just, you know, as is. It's totally up to you. You can even put it into your Google Classroom if you like that. What I like too is that it really sort of pushes that student to be in the driver's seat. So it's going to get them to start taking responsibility for their learning, their speaking, etc. And I'll show you some of the ways it does that. And then you'll also see lots of differentiation here. So you're going to hit all the different learning styles. You're going to have something in all of your lessons for every student in your classroom. Okay, so with that in mind, let us jump into vhlcentral.com. It's also known as the super site, and you'll see why, because it's pretty super once we get in there. Okay, so let me bring over the super site here, and I'm going to stop my sharing for 1 second and bring on the super site. Guys, can you all see my computer with the super site on there? Okay, perfect. So we're going to jump into D'accord. Like I said, you're looking at the super site now, and this is where it's the online learning platform. Like I said, it can be integrated into various types of technology that you already have, that you're already used to using. So think of it in that way. It can just complement anything that you're already ready to use. I want to show you some of my favorites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the content area. And again, you notice that color coding here that I talked about earlier. I was off on my colors, but you get the idea here. And I'm just going to jump into a lesson here. And what I want to show you is some of the speech recognition. This is so cool because students get immediate feedback on their pronunciation. Let's just look at a quick little sample tutorial here. So in this
note.
am I sharing sound? I hope I am. Okay.
Yes.
Les
Yes.
mathématiques.
So notice how the green equal sign shows that it's a true cognitive.
Avoir sommeil. Écouter. Demander.
The red, that's a false cognate, right? Okay, so now we're going to do a tiny
Les
matching.
mathématiques. Demander. Avoir sommeil. Une note.
I'm going to get one wrong. Okay, now it's correct. There we go.
Écouter.
Okay, now here's my speech recognition. So notice this, again, that the circles and the cognate and the false cognate shows up. And then I'm going to keep my speech recognition. You can turn that on or off. And the students are going to get immediate feedback. Look at this. Un número. I'm not sure. Oh, I got it wrong. Okay, that was not une note. You can tell I'm not a very good French speaker. So here I say, did you get it right? No, I didn't get it right. I'm going to say not yet, and it's going to come back to me. Okay. Les mathématiques. Okay. Got it. Anyone out there? French, help me. Yawning. Okay, so we are getting the idea here, right? So this is the students are going to get immediate feedback on their pronunciation. It's a very, very sympathetic listener. So you can tell I'm a Spanish speaker. I'm sorry, French speakers, but it will if the student is, it's comprehensible, it's great, right? And it will enjoy that very much. The students enjoy that quite a bit. Let's take a look at another favorite of mine, which is a virtual chat. So here, I'm going to show you this one. This is when students get to speak with a virtual partner and they answer questions right on the screen here. So he's going to ask me some questions and then I have to answer, right? And we could be in trouble with my questions and answers.
Quel jour sommes-nous?
I don't know what you're saying.
Quand est le prochain cours de français?
Bonjour, yo no hablo français. Okay.
Est-ce que
So-
tu prépares un examen cette année?
Here you're getting a great idea of, now it's recording me. You can see what's happening here, right? And so the students are really interacting. These are preparing the students for the French AP exam, right? When they have to answer their questions right online. Now think about how wonderful this is. Students are doing this from French 1, right? So by the time they get to their AP classes, they're ready to go. They are not intimidated to take AP classes when they've gone through, you know, the first levels of French, and they're prepared. They get there like, we've been doing this since French 1. So this is one of my favorites. And notice how here, you know, students have links up to resources. If they need to check out their book real quick, they can come up here and check out their book, noticing that that book is all related and connected right to the super site. It is awesome. Okay, so let's jump back, and now I want to show you a partner chat. And Carolyn, I'm watching my time here. Am I doing okay?
You're doing okay. I think we'll probably transition to Valerie at about 12:25-ish.
Okay, so I've got a few more minutes.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So folks that are watching this, just know that there's so much here that I could show you, but I'm just showing you some of my favorites, right? So this is a partner chat, and this is when the kids actually meet up online synchronously, and they have a conversation, and it gets recorded and turned into you. So in this case here, they would select their partner, click on that partner and have a chat. And you can see here that this one, they are talking about their school schedules, right? And so it just says you and your partner have an incomplete page from Patrick's day planner. Your partner has the information that you are missing and vice versa. So it's really great. Take a look at what it looks like when it's turned into the teacher, right? So you're going to get all of these recordings right here on your screen. And then you can give each student an individual score, as well as give them written or spoken feedback. Great feature there as well. All right, my last thing to sum up, because I want to show you one more thing, which is absolutely amazing. And this is called news and cultural updates. So for any of you that go out onto the internet and look for things to show your students in class, guess what? It's all done for you. Vista Higher Learning has taken care of that. So you come over here and you'll see that this is organized by month of the school year. And then you'll see that they're going to upload more content for the current school year, as well as keep archived content as well. So for example, I'm just going to jump into February, okay? And you'll notice that all of the content is organized by AP theme, as well as you get a different proficiency level. And that's going to be very helpful because the activities will be scaffolded based on the proficiency level of the student. So for example, if we go into novice mid, okay, let's take a look really quickly. We're going to have all sorts of activities. We're going to have before video, before viewing the video, front loading some of that vocabulary. We're going to get during, while you're watching, different strategies to listen, to understand, cultural notes. Now notice that some of this cultural notes are in English. That's because we're at the novice level. As the students move up in proficiency level, these things will turn to French, right? So let's just take a quick little peek at this video, just so you get an idea.
Yeah, I'm going to call it right now. I think I found the single biggest productivity hack of 2021. It's this Google Chrome extension.
On a dit, on choisit Québec. Elle, c'est Fanny Abakar, une jeune immigrante de 17 ans arrivée du Cameroun il y a 3 ans. Quand je suis arrivée, je trouvais vraiment ça difficile de vivre au Canada, avec de la neige aussi. Je trouvais ça vraiment difficile. Et à l'école, au début, je connaissais personne. Le froid, la neige, l'isolement.
Okay, French teachers, I need to take your class because I want to speak just like her. So as we go through here, you can kind of see some of that content, right? And then there'll be after viewing the video, comprehension check questions. Now look at this. This is my favorite part. And this is really tied to AP in terms of the cultural comparison. At the end of all of these news and cultural updates, students will compare cultures to their own culture. In this case, it's in English because again, we're at the novice level, but these things will progress into the target language as the students move along in their proficiency. Okay, that was a very quick overview of D'accord. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are interested in knowing more, I want to show you this link here. It's called govistahigherlearning.com/K12 programs. Look at all of the programs that Vista Higher Learning has to offer. All the Spanish, the dual language, English literacy solutions. We're going to see some of that right now. Look at all this French, German, Italian. I highly recommend you come on over if you're interested in knowing more about D'accord or Chemin or any of the other programs. These are great little overviews and they will show you everything that you need. All right, I am going to turn it over to Valerie. Hopefully I didn't go too much over my time.
Thank you, Donna. That's great. No, we're perfect. We're in good shape. So thank you. And I'm just going to put Steve and my email addresses in the chat.
Okay,
so
great. And
everyone.
I'll put the chat, the link to this page that I just showed in the chat as well.
That's great.
Thank you.
So Valerie, if you want to take it from here, introduce yourself and then, jump into the presentation. That's great.
Great. Thanks, Carolyn. Thanks, Donna. My name's Valerie Schull. I'm an elementary and middle school Spanish teacher at an independent school here in Chicago. I'm coming live from my classroom. And I'm also a language consultant with Vista. I'm really excited to be able to share with you today the elementary Spanish programs for grades K to 5 that were adopted in California. Today, we're going to take a look at listos and antología. There we go. We'll focus in on listos. So listos, the core components of listos, as Dana mentioned with Decor and Chemin, is that we have digital and print available. Our core components for listos are the student editions, the teacher's editions, practice workbooks, the Blackline assessment books, a biblioteca temática or a thematic library for you to be able to use leveled readers with your students, and a wealth of digital activities online designed just for the K to 5 learner. In addition to our core, we have a wide range of supplements because it's elementary. There's a lot of hands-on that happens in our classrooms, in addition to very engaging digital activities. We have hands-on activities as well. So we have our phonics components, which are syllabic and alphabet games, picture cards, our lecturas fonéticas, which are decodable readers. Those are also in print and online, and the online has audio support. We have our illustrated poster cutouts and our character cutouts. Both of these are great for developing communication. So the poster cutouts can be used in a lot of creative ways in the elementary room, from just working to develop more vocabulary, but we can use those for picture descriptions, guessing games. And the poster cutouts or the character cutouts are great for storytelling, story retelling. If you are using TPRS, these make great props. We can also use the characters from the book to retell scenes, or for the children to be able to put themselves in the shoes of the characters in the book. The tarjetas fotográficas is one of our supplements as well. And this is a rich archived collection of photo cards. And they can also be used just like the poster cutouts or character cutouts in a lot of different creative ways, doing things like see, think, wonder, or guessing, or gallery walks, but they also just come ready to use. So the back of every picture has a lesson already ready to use for teachers. And you can see on the left-hand side that they are also indexed. So teachers can quickly go to the box, take a look at the theme or topic that they're going to be presenting a lesson on, pull out the cards that are relevant to that, flip it over, and they've got a lesson ready to use. These are also great if you're at those last few minutes of class and it's not quite time to dismiss, but you don't have time to jump into a full lesson. These tarjetas fotográficas are awesome for that, because it gives you a little something that you can use for input or practice. And again, it's ready to use. You can just pull out of the box and go for it. So the structure of the program in Listos, I like to think of Listos as being a virtual study abroad experience for children. The whole series focuses on 2 children who are traveling through the Spanish-speaking world. And at each level from A to F, the children change and they grow, and they are from a variety of backgrounds and ages. And they're always age appropriate to the learner using that level. So at kindergarten, you're going to see 6- and 7-year-olds on their adventures. But by the time we're at 5th grade, we're talking about 10-year-olds. I know that my own students are, especially the older ones, are very judgy if they feel that they're using something that's below their level. So this was designed to meet the needs developmentally and linguistically, to meet the children where they are. The books all center around 8 universal themes, and those themes repeat in every level. They are nos conocemos, cómo vivimos, vamos a aprender, los animales, nos cuidamos, nuestro ambiente, cómo funciona, and nuestras celebraciones. And they spiral throughout. This is really key at the elementary level because we tend to see students for a long period of time in these little bits, right? And so what can happen is by 5th grade, students are entering middle school and they might really be ready to start pushing through to intermediate. But if they can't recall some very basic vocabulary or structures to do that, they end up having to repeat content. So what happens is the whole program of Listos is spiraled so that students revisit these themes each year, being able to expand what they can say, how they can use the language, and what they understand. The beauty of this, because at elementary, we also have students that are constantly moving in and out of our programs. So I might have a student that was with me in 3rd grade, but for 4th grade, they moved to another school. The same is true. I have students moving in. So because the curriculum spiraled and they keep revisiting these same universal themes, if I have a student coming in at 4th grade, they've never had Spanish before, but my 4th graders have been having it since kindergarten, there is always a point of entry. So they will work on the more basic vocabulary and structures of the theme, while the students who have been studying Spanish all along have the opportunity to keep growing. That is all baked in. Teachers do not need to track this or plan for it because it's really at the heart of the Listos curriculum. It's already there and ready to go. As a teacher, when I open that up, my teacher rep, I am going to get support at all levels, the unit level, the lesson level, and even that daily plan level. This program aligns very strongly with the California World Language Adoption standards, as well as the ACTFL standards. And it was developed using understanding by design, so backward design. Every unit's going to open with an overview with essential questions. I'm going to see the learning targets. I'm going to see the assessment. So how am I, what's that evidence of learning? I'm also going to see, when I open up that big picture, what are the literacy pieces? How might I use some readings from Antología or from Lecturas Fonéticas? And where are my cultural connections coming in? So I have this big picture view. And then I can zero in at the lesson level. If I'm using Listos as is, a lesson lasts about a week. That can also be adapted using our pacing guide. So if you see students a couple times a week, there's going to be guidance on how you adapt to meet that time requirement. And if you are meeting students 4 to 5 times a week, you can just use this as is, a lesson lasting about a week. So the same thing, we see our guiding questions, our objectives, we see that core vocabulary and structures that the students are going to need to be able to use the language, right? The focus is on communication. So what's the vocab and what's the structure they need to do the communicative tasks within the unit? And then at the end, I'm going to see, again, evidence of learning. What are those formative assessments? What are the summative assessments? I can use what's already in the Blackline Master Book, but there are a ton of suggestions in the teacher wrap on how I can assess students all along the way. And then, of course, you can see on the right, meeting the standards. So if you're a teacher that is reporting out, you have to put this in your lesson plan. You can see very easily, look, page 12. I am working on interpersonal, and this is connections. So it makes it very user-friendly from the teacher point of view. And then finally, I'm going to be zeroing in at that daily lesson level. I have the plans ready to use. When I open this up, it's all going to be there for me. So I'm going to see, oh, I'm using the tarjetas fotográficas. How can I use those in the lesson? I'm going to see, oh, there's going to be a little cultural part for me to talk to the students about today. How am I using audio from our online platform? How am I differentiating? Every single unit has differentiation very clearly laid out to support the teacher and their students. So Every unit has benchmarks. How am I helping those students along who need a little bit more? And how am I challenging those who need to have more challenge, particularly heritage students who oftentimes are in our FLES classes? So how can we meet their needs? Every lesson centers around the modes of communication. So on this page, we can see interpretive and interpersonal. So it's going to lay out very clearly for me as the teacher, how am I working the modes? And then closing. So it's all right there. How do I start the lesson? What's the meat of the lesson? What are the students doing with the language? And then how do I wrap it up for the day? It's very user-friendly for the teacher. I mentioned before the flexible pacing, and the Listos teacher wrap gives very clear guidance on what to do if you're meeting the students 1 day a week, or if you're meeting them 4 days a week or 5 days a week, and it's there ready to use. Every unit takes a deep dive into culture with really fun and engaging hands-on cultural learning. So these can be used at the end to wrap up a unit, or they can be used at the beginning to spark interests. So you can see this is making arpilleras de Peru, or learning some flamenco. You might want to start off with flamenco to talk about Spain to spark the interest and imagination of the students, but that's also flexible for teachers to be able to use it around whatever makes sense for your learning environment. I want to also be sure to mention the companion program, Antología. Antología is a great program for heritage speakers, students who need more working on that Spanish language arts based in authentic literature. So this is all literature that is written by Spanish-speaking authors from all over the Spanish-speaking world, and it is leveled by unit. So every chapter, there's going to be a beginner level, intermediate, and advanced, so that we can differentiate for our students based on what they need. Antología also has lecturas fonéticas, which are the readers, to continue to supplement the literacy skills in our students. We also have with Antología quizzes. There's a placement test, so you know where to start with your learners, online assessments. There's reading performance assessments, and a lot of guidance around navigating Spanish language arts. Antología is designed to be side by side with Listo. So as those students are traveling, when they're in Bolivia in Unit 1, Antología's Unit 1, they're going to be in Bolivia too, studying literature from the country. So, like Donna was able to show you, I want to have you step in with me to Vista's online platform designed just for K-5 students. When a child logs on, this is what they're welcomed by. It is a child-friendly, engaging, easy to navigate, and safe digital learning environment. So students here can see this very clean dashboard. It's easy for them to be able to get to their activities and assignments. They can find their content, they can follow their own progress. And there's a piece here for the grownups in their lives to be able to see progress, check on grading, what assignments the student has coming up. So it's really all inclusive. It's for the student, for the teacher, and for the grownups in the learner's life.
I'm just going to jump in. I think maybe about 2-3 more minutes. Is that
got
good?
it? That sounds
Perfect.
great.
Thank
I just
you.
want to give you a second to show all of the resources that are available. It's not elementary without music. And so, of course, we've got music, song lyrics to use. Great. So we have a whole library of songs that are traditional songs for children, again, from the Spanish-speaking world. We have a library of rich, authentic resources to bring video content that's age appropriate for the learners in our program. And I'll just go a little forward here.
Estas son María y Sofía. Las dos viven a miles de kilómetros de distancia, una en España y la otra en Colombia.
So really engaging, age-appropriate, authentic video resource that can be used in so many ways. Again, doing things like movie talk, picture talk, or using it as it is on the online platform with previewing, post-viewing activities. We also have all kinds of activities for students to be able to practice their interpersonal skills.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Yo soy Javier. ¿Cómo te llamas?
So you can see Javier pauses so students can record themselves and respond to his questions.
Mucho gusto. Esta es mi familia. Nati es mi hermana.
All of the activities on the super site or our online learning platform have audio support. This is one really important way that we can support all learners in the classroom. In my classroom, this is often a suggestion made for students who have dyslexia because we have both audio and the visual word highlighting.
Los amigos.
Mi amigo se llama Tomás. Mi hermana se llama Ana. El parque de Chapultepec visitaremos mañana.
Parque de Chapultepec.
As students go further down, they will have a chance to practice again, a little bit of conversation work, being able to present their friend, just like they heard in the model. I just wanted to mention.
I think we should probably move on to Donna, but if you want to just quickly wrap up, this has been awesome.
Okay, that's great. I just wanted to mention that the online platform for Antologías looks exactly the same. So students can access their Antologías content on the super site or our online digital platform for children. It's all right there as well. So students will see the exact same, very child-friendly, child-centered, I should say, or safe learning environment. From this, children can't just click all over the internet, which is something I really appreciate as an elementary teacher. It helps everybody to stay where they need to be. So thank you for giving some of your time today. I know that was really fast, but hopefully you got a sense of Listos en Antología. And Donna, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Okay, Valerie, I want to take your class.
Thank you, Valerie.
Amazing.
That's great.
Oh my goodness. And I love that super site for kiddos. It is so cute. All right, kids. So here I go. Now we're going to talk about Spanish. Okay.
And Donna, you'll probably, since we have until 1:20, I would say, about 15 minutes for each program. And that does give us about 5 minutes for questions if there are any.
Fantastic. Okay, that'll be great. So let me get back into my PowerPoint here. And are we good? Can you all see my PowerPoint okay? All right, fantastic. So hello, Spanish teachers. Today I'm going to talk with you about one program called Senderos. And Senderos has 5 different volumes with about 6 chapters in each volume, as well as a 2 volume split for middle school. This is going to be a California version just for our state, which is so cool. There is the best. I'll show you a little bit when we jump into the super site, but there is an amazing spread of all sorts of California specific content. There'll be all of the lessons will be referencing California standards. They're, like Valerie showed you, all the teacher wrap, everything will be referenced with our state standards, the then and now approaches, how we used to do things, how we're moving to do things, and everything that are, direct correlations and so forth. You can see for us San Diegans, right? I pulled a little picture out from La Cuna de California. That's San Diego, right? And I love all of this because Students that were in Valerie's class, but on the California coast, we do all of our, in 5th grade, we do the missions projects. So students really remember all of that. Oh yeah, we did this in, elementary school. So it's really cool. It's just special for the Golden State. I love that. Okay, so all of the senderos are going to lead students right into the path of AP, if that's where you want to go, right? There can also be, there's more, Vista has more than just AP text for honors or advanced courses. Great programs to check out if you're interested in sort of developing some of your AP programs or honors or beyond. Okay, so again, just like we saw earlier, all of the content is print and digital. So if you like to be working with pencil paper, you got it. If you want to be all tech, you got it. If you want a mixture of both, hey, you've got that too. With Senderos, you're going to see a 6-step instructional design. So again, you're going to have the context, the vocabulary, the media, the culture, the structure, and then the synthesis, putting it all together. And everything is so beautifully woven together that students don't even realize, oh, okay, now we're focusing on grammar, right? Because all of that grammar is just woven right into the context and all of the authentic material. Vista does such a good job with that. Again, you're going to have that color coding here, right? So now I'm going to get my colors right. You're always going to see all of the vocabulary in red. Again, that's going to come, you're looking at a page in the book, and then you're looking at the online website. So everything will be color coded. You'll see those same colors in the grade book for the teacher. So easy identification of everything that students are working on and each content strand. All right. So before we jump into our super site, I just want to kind of focus on the importance of Vista and what they believe, right? It's everything in context, a big focus on communication, and authentic resources throughout. You're going to see 5 different video series in this program. So you'll see a fotonovela, where is an episodic video series where Spanish students are traveling through Spain and other Spanish-speaking countries from all over. You're going to be, students will be exposed to multiple accents from Mexico, Dominican Republic, Spain, etc. Lots of cool Flash Cultura videos, Panorama Cultural videos, lots of things to look at. It is everything, again, I focused a little bit on this before, but there is a great integration between the text and the tech, and it also integrates right into your learning management platform or any of the different programs that you currently are using. So you don't have to learn a whole new learning management system at all. It can just integrate perfectly into the tech you're currently using. What I love about these programs is it really puts the student in the driver's seat, right? It makes them responsible for all of their learning. It becomes very student focused. And I'm going to show you some of those tools right now. Additionally, tons of differentiated and scaffolded activities. So you're going to hit it's going to appeal to all types of learners, all of your students and teachers as well. I know in our department, we have a very big mix of our teaching styles. And so this book really lends itself to a variety of different teaching methodologies and pedagogies. So let's take a look at our online platform. It's known as the super site, or vhlcentral.com. And so I'm going to end my PowerPoint here, and I'm going to bring over there we go, my super site. Okay, guys, are we seeing the super site now?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, then let me do a better job at sharing. Okay, I'm glad I asked. Now? Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Wonderful. Okay, so this is Senderos platform, right? And super user friendly. It's certainly not as cute as Valerie's. I love that cute little paper sign. It's adorable. Okay, so here I'm going to jump into the content area. And when I get into activities, the first thing you're going to see, look at this, Las Raíces de California. All of this is specific for our kiddos, right? So here's that San Diego, La Cuna de California. I need to just focus on San Diego because we're so beautiful over here. But look at these awesome articles, right? It's going to give the kids a history here. Of course, this is in English because we're in Senderos Uno, right? This is our first level. So things will transition into the target language as the students move ahead in their proficiency levels. But you're going to see that there's all sorts of activities already created for you. It is fantastic. So highly recommend you take a peek at all of that stuff. Now, let me jump into some of the cool features that students love and that I love as a teacher. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of speech recognition. I'm going to come into my pronunciation. Look how everything on that left-hand side is that we've got that color coding for easy recognition and finding things right away. It's wonderful. I happen to be very visual, so I appreciate that quite a bit. And it looks like my internet is getting tired. It's going slow. Okay, so let's look at this pronunciation tutorial and how it's got the speech recognition. And I'm going to make sure it's turned on. Now I can turn it off if a student has an issue with a microphone or whatnot, so they can still complete the activity, even though maybe they don't have a microphone. So that's okay. So let's take a look at this.
Pronunciación. Spanish vowels. Spanish vowels are...
So what you're going to see, we're going to look at this tutorial, and then if you see these little gray areas here, these are points within the tutorial that the student has to interact, and they're going to receive immediate feedback on their pronunciation. So let's take a look. Okay. Oops, did I? Here we go. Oh, I did that one right. Okay, next.
E.
I. Okay, it didn't like my I, right? So this was a very simple example of some of the speech recognition tools that we have. But also you'll see all of this speech recognition throughout the program. So with vocabulary words and different other types of activities that gives the students the immediate feedback with that little thumbs up or, hey, you got to practice that a little bit more, right? And again, it is very sensitive, and like it will accept a lot of different pronunciation. It doesn't have to be perfect native like speaker. So it's a sympathetic listener, just like us teachers, right? Okay, so that's speech recognition. Let me show you a virtual chat, which is super fun. This is, let me go into a little grammar point here. You're going to see all these activities throughout all the different content strands. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at this one. And this is where I'm on screen and I'm speaking with a virtual partner. I'm going to be answering questions. This will look very familiar to you in terms of getting those kids ready for AP. So let's take a listen.
¿Cómo estás?
Estoy bien.
¿Dónde estás ahora?
Estoy en mi casa.
¿Dónde está tu diccionario de español?
Está en Google. Okay, so you can see I'm being recorded. Now, here I can do it auto advance, like I'm doing it simulates a real conversation, or I could do manual advance where I kind of go back and forth and stop and repeat and so forth. Also, you might notice this show audio text on the screen. You as the teacher get to control. Do you want the students to see the written question, or do you prefer it to be a completely oral activity, listening and speaking activity? Again, these are great activities to get those students ready to flow into AP if that's your goal. You know, I mentioned earlier in the French that, you know, this is going to give students that confidence to keep staying in language classes and moving up into those higher levels. Because if they've been sort of, they're ready to go kind of speak, right? It's not like, oh gosh, I got to take AP and I can't answer 5 questions. You know, they've been doing all of this all along. Love all of these links here. Maybe they just need a really quick review. What was that grammar explanation? I forgot how to conjugate those verbs. Look at that, a nice link here. They've got listening activities. It's just, I can't say how much I love this program. Okay, so we just looked at virtual chats. Let's take a look at partner chats. Now, partner chats are going to be where they speak with each other, and that gets recorded and turned into you, the teacher. So I'm just going to jump over here to Nuevos Amigos, right? And here the students would meet online synchronously, excuse me, and they would record a conversation. So this one, you know, during the first week of class, you meet a new student in the cafeteria with a partner, prepare a conversation using these cues. So the students meet up, they have a conversation, and then this is what it would look like from the teacher side of things. So the teacher would get all these cool videos right on screen with all their students, and then they would be able to individually grade and give feedback, either written or verbal feedback. So let's just take a quick listen here.
Because it said to say your first and last name before we started.
Hi, my name is Michelle Vergara.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Hola, me llamo Jeline. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Michelle.
¿De dónde eres?
Okay, you're getting the idea here, right? So quick and easy grading for teachers, great practice for students. All right, that is a partner chat. Okay, so we saw virtual chats, we saw partner chats, we saw speech recognition. There's so much on here that I would love to show you, but I only have 15 minutes. So let me just go into my very last piece here, which is news and cultural updates. News and cultural updates is the bomb. I mean, so awesome. Okay, so all of you teachers that are out there constantly looking for videos and authentic articles, and guess what? You have some free time. Go out to the beach and enjoy yourself, right? So look at this. What this is it's divided up by months of the school year. Okay, so if I jump into, you know what, I'll just go into December, for example. And they will be constantly updating the content for every school year, archiving old content because we can still use that, right? And then it's all set up and organized by AP theme, and then also the different proficiency levels, okay? So I think what I'm gonna do, let's see if I do this one, Mafalda. Now this is going to be a novice mid, okay? Probably most of us in here know who Mafalda is. This is a link to an article. So we have an authentic article coming up right here. And this is going to be an article about the creator of Mafalda, right? And We can use articles, they use videos, etc. And look at this. Here we're seeing some of this in English because again, we're at the novice level, right? So we're not going to give the kids background information in Spanish, which they're not going to understand. They will get before reading or before listening, if it's a video or audio, activities that always come with strategies. I love this, right? Like, hey, you're not about to read an article in English. It's going to be in the target language and you need some strategies to help you. So there'll be a little bit of pre-activities, right? Always some cultural notes while you're reading or listening, comprehension check. After reading or listening, comprehension check. And my favorite part, this is going to ring true to all those AP teachers, that cultural comparison there. In this case, it's in English. Again, as they move ahead in their proficiency levels, it will switch into Spanish to when they'll be able to actually use the language. All right. I think with that, Carolyn, I should switch to Encuentros, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think we're doing well with time. This is great.
Awesome.
We've got about 18 minutes left.
Okay, perfect. So let us jump back in and we're going to jump. Oh, before I do that, really quick, I do want to show everyone this site, which is the Vista Higher Learning site. We'll go ahead and put this. Would one of you mind dropping this link into the chat? I think I did it earlier, but just in case.
No problem.
Missed it?
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. So look at all these programs that Vista Higher Learning has. I mean, I've just showed you one, but if you are interested in knowing a little bit more, you can come on over here. We just looked at Senderos. You're going to get a full overview of Senderos on this this site. You can request more information. You can download, a sample lesson, things like that. But in addition to all the Spanish, look, it's not just for Spanish. So tell all your friends, right? We've got dual language. We've got English literacy. We've got French, German, Italian, English language arts. I mean, it's just wonderful. So I highly recommend you come on over to this site if you're interested in knowing more and sharing your knowledge with friends that might be interested as well.
And I just put that in the chat, Donna, so thank you for mentioning that. And I also have put the Vista Higher Learning in California, the website, our special website for California teachers. That's the second link in the website. And you have lists of our current adopters, the current schools we partner with. You have all of the contact information for the language and literacy specialists. You can access the correlations, all of our correlations to the California World Language Standards. So there's a lot on that second link to access about Vista specifically in California.
Perfect. We are the Golden State. Sorry, Valerie, we get all the goodies. It's not true.
That's the reason. There's a reason we're called the Second City. It's okay, Donna. I will embrace the Golden State.
Okay, thank you. Vista Higher Learning works for every state across the nation and internationally, but us in California, we're special. We just are special. Okay, so let's now talk about Encuentros. This is a different Spanish series that might be up your alley. Let me tell you a little bit about this one. So Encuentros has 3 volumes and a little quicker scope and sequence than Senderos. And it also has the 2 A and B middle school split, right? So this also with Encuentros, you get all those California goodies. So you're going to get all those mission projects and articles and the Presidios and La Cuna de California and San Diego, all of those goodies that I showed you before. I'll poke around and show you a little bit more for Encuentros. But same content for both. Again, you're going to have all the correlations to the California standards, the then and now, all of the teacher wrap is going to be connected up to all of our state standards and et cetera. Okay. So also with Senderos and Encuentros, it's all leading students on a path to AP or higher level courses, right? A lot of people say, yeah, you know, AP is not for everyone. That's right. AP is not for everyone, but Spanish, knowing Spanish is for everyone. So even if they're not going to be taking an AP class, that's okay. We still want to get them up to that high level of being able to converse, especially in California, with all of the Spanish speakers in our state. So if AP is your thing, great. If you want to just keeping them engaged in learning and knowing more about the language, there's also books for that. Okay, so just like with Senderos, Encuentros, you're going to have all that content, digital and print. It is the same awesome online learning platform. But here with Encuentros, you're going to see a bit of a different instructional design. So this, rather than the 6-step instructional design that I showed you with Senderos, this is more of kind of that CI, right? Like it's going to be focusing on the countries and the regions and the themes. And then everything is going to kind of spiral in and out, right? The vocabulary, the grammar, and the AP themes. So you'll get a little bit of a sense when you see how this book is set up. It's just a different approach. So whereas Senderos sort of lends itself to lots of different pedagogical approaches, I think Encuentros is a little bit more up that CI route, but it certainly can be taught in any way that you see fit. Okay. You'll see here, this is sort of, I know there's a lot on this screen, but I just wanted to kind of give you a little glimpse of the scope and sequence here. You're going to see here that everything is sort of set up by region and Spanish-speaking countries. And then there will be desafíos that the characters through the book have to kind of go, like, for example, they go to Mexico City and they have to go to Casa de Frida Kahlo and discover some things in her house. And they go to a soccer game and things like that, where they're in that country and they're traveling within that country or the city. Got a lot of culture, a lot of storytelling in there. So if that's kind of your thing, you know, take a look at this book, okay? So with that in mind, let's just take a quick peek at the super site, okay? Let me stop here. And okay, I've got about 10 more minutes, so this is good. Let me bring up the super site. And stop share, where are you? Okay, there we are. Let me, our desktop here. Okay. Are we seeing the super site? Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah. So awesome. So now you're gonna see the super site again. The super site will be the same type of setup for any of your programs. So it's really great to have all of your languages on this same platform, because teachers can work together and really help each other find resources and use things in different ways that maybe you didn't ever think of, right? Like your French teacher, your German teacher, like, oh, we found this, you know, you guys should try this in Spanish. It is wonderful. Everybody's on the same platform across the department, and there's so much sharing to be going on between language teachers. I love that. We use it for all of our languages, and it's brought our department together so much more. So I'm going to go into content. I'm going to go over to activities. And again, that first thing we're going to see, Las Raíces de California. Now, earlier I showed you San Diego, la cuna de California. Let's look at this one, La Provincia Mexicana estadounidense. Look at this. So here we're going to be talking about all of the different provincias, right? And talking about that periodo mexicano. Let me make this a little bit bigger, okay? La Guerra de México y Estados Unidos, right? So they're going to get a nice little perspective on things here. And again, we're seeing this one in English. We're in level 1. As the students move along, they're going to see things like this in the target language. But there's so many cool topics here and things that, I mean, I feel like you don't find this stuff in like a traditional textbook. Like this one's made just for us in our state. And so it's really going to talk to us about our history and things that have gone on in the past. So lots of different topics, lots of different activities to go along with this. Immigration, writing activities. It really promotes those critical thinking skills. Okay, so with that, I want to jump in and show you some of the cool activities here. So I'm going to
Donna, we'll stop at about 1:15 to see if there are questions.
Okay.
And if there aren't, we'll just end, end at 1:20.
Okay.
And if there are questions, then we'll just leave the last 5 minutes for those questions.
Wonderful. So I'll jump through and show a couple of things. What are your thoughts? Should I show virtual chats and partner chats again? Or maybe the same people are seeing Senderos and Encuentros?
I think you could probably bypass those because they've been shown already and focus on maybe another type of feature. That'd be great.
Excellent. I'm going to jump into then some of my favorites from this textbook series, and they have some of the cutest video series that the kids absolutely love. So we're going to take a quick peek at Un Chinde, it's called. There's various video series in here, but this one is like a TikTok kind of series. Kids love it. I'm going to go into, let's see, I think it's in Todo Junto. And we're going to jump into Un Chinde. This is a cute video series. The kids go nuts for it.
Hola, me llamo Adriana María y estoy muy contenta porque este es nuestro primer video. ¿Qué pasa?
Uy, esto está mal.
No hay problema. Este es Jaime. Mi mejor amigo.
Hola. Sí, pero no somos novios.
Claro que no somos novios, somos amigos. Y vamos a hacer estos videos juntos.
Okay, so this is really right up our kids' alley, right? The kind of TikTok feel, and kids adore this. Tons of activities that go along with it. You can only imagine, right? And the kids get really, really involved in it. Also, just like with Senderos, you're going to get my fave, the news and cultural updates, right? So I've shown you quite a few different activities here, but let's just take a quick look at in February, for example. I love all this. This is a video. I'm going to just show you super quick, and then we'll open it up for questions. This one is pretty awesome. Look.
For nearly 50 years, National University has been helping people like you earn your college degree.
Imainalian, ¿cómo estás? En este video vamos a hablar sobre el quechua o quichua, la lengua nativa más hablada en todo el continente americano. Aunque en realidad debería decir las lenguas, porque el quechua no es una lengua, son varias. Es decir, es una familia con distintas variantes, como ocurre con las lenguas romances, como el español, el portugués o el francés. Y dentro de esta gran familia lingüística hay distintos quechuas. No hay uno que sea más legítimo que otro, pero el más...
Okay, so you're getting the idea, and some of you might be thinking, holy cow, he's speaking fast. That's okay. We've got lots of different strategies here. Prep, interesting facts to get the kids ready before they're, thrown into that video. They're going to have before watching questions, while they're watching, different strategies after viewing, and then of course that cultural comparison that I always love. Okay, so I am on fast forward here. I'm going to stop my speaking now. and let's get some questions answered.
That's great, Donna. Thank you.
Sure.
I think it might just be the 5 of us at this point. Yes, I believe so. I have put in the chat, Ava, 2 different documents that highlight the differences between encuentros and senderos. That's a very common question. You know, what are the differences? Because we submitted both and they both can be used for grades 6, 7, and 8. So the first document, especially kind of side by side, shows what the differences are. And, you know, feel free to post those as well. I think teachers have found them very helpful when they're looking at both programs. It helps differentiate.
Yeah, it's great that you've created that, because that's some of what I was wondering, you know, in listening to the presentations, wanting to dig in a little more into the differences between those 2 programs. So that's great. And what I hope we can do is upload the videos to a website, as well as, you know, some of these resources that you're sharing.
That's great. I think the main thing to keep in mind about encuentros and senderos is that senderos leads with language, where encuentros leads with culture. Those are the 2 main differences. So as Donna said, teachers who prefer kind of the CI approach kind of gravitate more towards encuentros. And senderos, we'd like to say, is kind of more, I guess, for students who know they're going to be on the road to AP. So.
All right, excellent. Anything else that you would like to share in the last 2 minutes?
I don't think anything, but, you know, please feel free to reach out to myself or to Steve. I'm based, I didn't say at the beginning, I'm based in Northern California, in Napa. And I hope to meet people in person at some point soon. I'm hopefully confident that we will start to, you know, be seeing each other in person, certainly starting in the fall. But any questions that anyone has, if they want digital access, if they want print copies, we're happy to send those along. San Diego, I know Steve has a few districts. I mean, Steve, do you just want to quickly, just as we end, talk about who in Southern California, just so they kind of have a frame of reference, are using our programs?
Well, LAUSD just recently adopted both Encuentros and Senderos, and Galleria, which is our native speakers program, which we didn't talk about here, but we do have. Yeah, there's just a ton, there's so many. I think that's the biggest one that people, you know, people obviously know LAUSD. So, and there's just a ton of surrounding districts as well. Just so many, I really can't name them all, but I guess I'll start with LAUSD since that's the biggest.
That was a big one. Yeah. So, yeah, so please feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and we hope to work with you in the future. And, you know, we're excited to kind of deepen our footprint in California, because we have been present for many, many years, but we're really thrilled to have been approved in this process.
All right, excellent. We'll refer anyone that asks us any questions about your products. We will refer them to you. And thank you so much for offering this presentation to all our LEAs, and of course around California. Everyone will be able to also access this. So thank you very much for those great presentations, very clearly presented for our users.
Good. Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you
so much.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Hasta pronto.